Also love this record.
Bombs our way on business. Business. Bombs our way.
Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. And it's time for a very highly anticipated review, Frank Ocean's Channel Orange. This guy's an R&B singer and a member of the California rap collective Odd Future. And I would say with releasing very little material, he has pretty much proven himself to be the most talented and worthwhile member of the group. He's definitely the one with the most crossover appeal too. And that shows in the projects he's been involved in ever since he made a splash with his debut mixtape Nostalgia Ultra. Ever since that thing dropped last year, he has been on Kanye and Jay-Z's Watch the Throne, and also under his belt some ghostwriting too, because he's written songs for Justin Bieber, John Legend, Beyonce, and his voice and his songwriting style has definitely put him at the forefront of this recent strain of experimental and adventurous R&B artists, which, I mean, let's face it, pretty much the two biggest artists in that arena are Frank Ocean and The Weeknd, both of whom I feel like have very modernized takes on classic R&B and soul artists. The Weeknd, for sure, to me is a very dark and tortured and drug-addled version of Michael Jackson, where Frank Ocean, by contrast, is much more of a Stevie Wonder, Martin Gaye kind of guy. Now, when it comes to Nostalgia Ultra, a lot of people have asked me to review it. For sure, it's an alternative to the commercial R&B that ruled the airwaves when I was a kid, but it didn't really hit me as being unique or different enough to be all that exciting. Despite the fact that I wasn't all that hot on The Weeknd at the time too, I found him much more interesting to follow. For me, this tape felt immature at some points. It felt like the production could have been better in others. And when it comes to modern R&B, I feel like Frank has one of the weaker voices out there right now. Dudes like Usher, The Weeknd as well, and even R. Kelly could totally out-sing him, I feel. They have more range, they sing with more conviction, more passion. Now in short, I feel like Channel Orange is pretty much growth for Frank Ocean. It's progression. And in a lot of ways, it's really Nostalgia Ultra, kind of on a grander scale. The short interludes that guide the album from one section to another section are here. The buttery smooth singing is here. The production is pretty varied. There are a lot of styles covered in the instrumentals on this thing. I thought there were some pretty unique song topics on this thing too. Tracks like Sweet Life and Super Rich Kids to me kind of sing the rich kid blues. These kids are coked up, the parents aren't watching them, the help doesn't even really care. I don't really get why or if I should even sympathize with who or what Frank Ocean is singing about in tracks like this, though I do kind of feel like the track Super Rich Kids, especially with that verse from Earl Sweatshirt, is a much more satirical portrayal of people like this. And that shower headline is hilarious. But the track Sweet Life sort of seems to be singing about this person that Frank Ocean is kind of having a crush on, in love with maybe, and they live a very privileged lifestyle. But Frank doesn't really get into the nitty-gritty of the relationship or anything like that. The song mostly is pretty much about the things this person has. The song Crack Rock, however, is a tale of just somebody's life being ripped apart by drug addiction. I wish the instrumental were a little slower, really kind of carried the weight of the situation, but when you really look at the chord progression and the hook on the song with the very dark, low-pitched background vocals, there is some very subtle moodiness to the song that I like. There's a track on here where Frank kind of talks about his relationship with religion, his difficulties when it comes to using it as a tool to solve personal problems. Of course, I'm talking about Bad Religion. The string sections on that song are to die for. And even though I wish the second half of the song changed it up a little bit more than the first, it easily is Frank's most passionate performance on the album. I actually wish he sang with that kind of fire on some other tracks here, because songs like Monks and Sierra Leone, though Frank is singing and he's hitting the notes, he's got the pitch, there's not really a lot of fire there. When I look at the lyrics of those tracks, I kind of see a lot of abstractions, a lot of disjointed thoughts, and I'm not really seeing a lot of purpose to the song. And it's almost as if Frank's lack of emotion on those tracks kind of confirms that in a way. The track Pink Matter, though, toward the end of this LP is slow, it's sweet. Frank's performance is great. It's really spacious like the song Bad Religion, but brings a totally different mood. It is a baby maker of a track, and Andre 3000's verse on the song, amazing. Is there an MC out there right now who is better equipped to rap about love than Andre 3000? No. And Forrest Gump is one of the last songs on here. It's a love song and kind of could be either literal, a song for the character of Forrest Gump, or kind of attributing all of his characteristics to someone else Frank is in love with. And I love the fact that the song is so simple with the beats and the guitar leads. There's just so little, I guess, musical phrases, musical ideas going on. However, it's so impactful, it just works. Plus, it's the only bold and obvious reference on here, I feel, to a kind of man-on-man romance. All the other songs are either dealing with women or have love interests that do not have a gender assigned. Despite the fact that Frank has admitted to being in love with someone of the same gender, and this has brought a lot of hype to this album, it's not really played a large role in the subject matter. The final song I want to talk on here a bit is one that I'm sure a lot of people are focused on with this LP, the 10-minute epic Pyramids. The song kind of progresses into this story about prostitution, Las Vegas, pyramid, hotel. It's kind of weird and takes a very dark and Weeknd-like turn toward the finish line. But my number one issue with the track is that I don't feel like it completely justifies its 10-minute length. Nowhere is this song more interesting than at the introduction and the very first chorus. It doesn't have any new climaxes. It all just kind of goes downhill, but to a very slight degree. I'm gonna keep riding the complaint train on this thing. I feel like overall this album is pretty disjointed, very disjointed in comparison with Nostalgia Ultra, and I feel like that is the only respect in which this album kind of falls short. Though tracks like Pyramids can be very good and progressive, Frank doesn't really have a way of blending them effectively into the album on Channel Orange. Now, despite all the pitfalls that I feel like this album has, I have to say, by modern standards, it's totally an imaginative R&B album. The production is there, for the most part the songs are there, and to a lesser extent, the execution is there. Popularity-wise, Frank is kind of really at the top right now when it comes to this style. Is he my favorite artist in this style? No, but I do like him a lot more than when I was just hearing Nostalgia Ultra. I'm feeling a decent to strong 7 on this LP. What did you guys think of it? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Why? And what should I review next? Anthony Fantano, Frank Ocean, forever.